All right, guys, welcome. We've got two amazing deals this week. One deal I would never have thought prices would have gone this low, close to downtown, but here we are. What I'm telling everybody right now, obviously we're in a strong buyer's market, but don't waste time going to see bad houses. Go to buywise.homes. If you get a group of houses together, 5 or 6 houses, you only have time to see 3 or 4, run them through buywise.home. They'll help you uncover some deal breakers. You don't have to register. Take you literally 60 seconds to do, and we'll uncover some potential flaws in the house. So let's just jump in and start looking at this first house. And it is in the St. Pete Heights neighborhood. If you're not familiar with that, it is kind of dead center St. Pete. It is kind of surrounded by, I'm not saying St. Pete Heights is a bad neighborhood at all. It is very nice, but it hasn't seen the renovation activity that, say, Woodlawn, Crescent Heights, Allendale, certainly North Kenwood have seen, but it is getting there. So maybe getting in a touch early to this neighborhood. Some of the other houses in the neighborhood might not be quite up to the standards to this house, but that presents opportunity. And as far as downtown goes, you are literally go over to 30th down 4th Street, you're downtown in 10 or 12 minutes, depending on traffic, and that's all surface streets. You're close to a 275 on-ramp, which gets you over to Tampa, and if you want to go 275 to downtown, you're like 8 minutes to downtown. So it's a good, solid location. So I know this neighborhood pretty well, but we're going to take a look first off at the flood zone situation. And I know for a fact that it's a X. We're always looking for X, which is a low risk, or X500, which is a super low risk. We want to avoid anything with an A in it or a V in it. So we're not in a flood zone. You wouldn't be required to carry flood insurance here. So let's knock out the first question, which is it in a high-risk flood zone? And then how long has this house been on the market? And we see here, this is what we want, 189 days on the market, more than 6 months. That tells us that the seller, because the house is vacant, it's got to be feeling the heat a little bit or a lot at this point. This is what we like to see when we have to expand to get all the price cuts in here. So we started on the market last December at $839, $328 a square foot, which at the time I thought probably was not a terrible price. $328 a square foot. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 price cuts. One price cut just a few days ago for $51,000. So this seller is ready to deal. There's no question about that. So we've had 3 or more price drops. The size of the price drops, just the one yesterday or a few days ago, was more than $50,000. And less than 30 days ago on the last price drop. Now this house is new, it was built in 2025, so we know the roof is less than 5 years old. Obviously the AC is less than 5. I don't think it has impact windows, but obviously the windows are new. Does it fit in with the neighborhood? This one is going to be a little difficult to tell because the Google Street View is a couple of years old, so we can't really tell. So this developer built the house next door, so that's comparable, but you can see the house here is a little bit smaller. I think these houses are all a little bit smaller. So we're a little on the big side. We don't necessarily want the biggest house in the neighborhood, but that's what we've got, or close to it anyway. So we're going to say, yeah, it's a little bit nicer than the rest of the neighborhood. Our first impressions of the listings, why do we ask this? Because you're out there competing with other buyers. They're scrolling through Zillow just like you. If their eye gets, or if they stop the scroll because of a great cover photo that matches the price, they make an appointment to go see the house, that's more competition. When we have bad cover photos, people will keep scrolling. Even if the house was nice, if the photographer didn't do their job, or if it was, they just didn't get a good shot of the house, people will keep scrolling. I would say this house, this almost looks like the back of the house, to be honest with you. I would say it's not a great photo for whatever reason, because the rest of the photos are nice, but we'll be generous here and say that it's an average or decent main photo. I think we're going to get a pretty high score on this, probably in the 90s. Yep, there it is, 90. This house is one that you definitely want to go see. We're going to buzz through the pictures really fast here. This is new construction. It's everything you would expect in a new construction home, which is a big open living area, obviously nice cabinets, solid surface countertops, new appliances. That comes with a builder's warranty. So you would expect few, if any, problems. And your maintenance costs would be low. Large primary suite. Bathroom is gorgeous. You know, it's sort of a custom or a semi-custom home. There's some really nice touches here. California style closets. There's the landing. So you kind of get an idea of what you're dealing with here. A gorgeous house. I mean, drop a comment. Let me know what you think. This house is 2,500 square feet, a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bathroom. Everything is brand new, new construction. I don't think anyone's ever lived in this house. It hasn't been rented, so they've been trying to sell it since it was finished. There are 2 laundry rooms. The primary suite is on the first floor. A lot of people they'd like some separation with the bedrooms, so you have it here. So it's pretty well designed. So a well-designed house, and this is kind of crazy. $273 a square foot, 14 minutes to downtown. Brand new construction, a 4-bedroom, 3-bath with a 1-car garage. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this one. If you're looking for something this big, I think we've got a super motivated seller here. They dropped the price $140,000 over the last 6 months. If we could get this thing down to like $649, which would put you at about $250 something or $260-ish a square foot, I mean, I would jump on it. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. All right, let's take a look at house number 2 here. We've got a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house with 2,029 square feet at $271 a square foot. The last house was $273 a square foot. This is not new construction. It is a pool house though, so that's going to make up for some of the difference. We're in the Disston Heights neighborhood, and we know the first question on our BuyWise app is this house in a flood zone? We hate flood zones, especially for unelevated houses. And we'll just double check this one. I know this neighborhood. I used to live pretty close to this. So it is flood zone X. Remember, we're looking for X or X500, so we're good there. And then let's jump over to the days on market. This house has only been on the market 13 days. So how motivated is a seller when they've only been on the market 13 days? They go through that first week or 10 days, probably get a lot of action because it's a new listing, but then they get no offers out of that first rush of showings. So even though it's been on the market 13 days, we may see a seller that's starting to become a little bit motivated. So we are 11 to 30 days on the market, and let's look at the price action on this one. I wouldn't expect much. Okay, and here's a good example of what's been happening. So they bought this house in 2023 for $460. Well, it actually sold in February 2024 for $460. They put it up a couple of weeks ago. They've had one price drop of around $15,000, so a respectable price drop after the first couple of weeks on the market. And if you watch my other videos, you know that a lot of people that bought after prices have peaked, they took their price, they added all the transaction fees, real estate commissions and taxes and everything, and they priced it at that amount so that they could get out net zero. They're a little bit higher than that here. So I'm not sure if they've done a bunch of work on this house. I don't think they have, but we've had one price drop, less than $25,000, and it was less than 30 days ago because it hasn't been on the market that long. So let's take a look and see. The roof on this one is about 10 years old. It's a 2017 roof, if I remember correctly. Here we go. So roof 2017, so 9 years, and the AC is about 7 years. So not terrible there. I don't see any indication that the windows are impact, although we can see from the first photo, maybe see the white frames, because this house would have been built in the 50s or 60s. It would have had aluminum roofs, or excuse me, aluminum frame windows from the beginning. So they were replaced at some point, but I don't think they are impact windows. And does the house fit in with the neighborhood? Take a quick look at the street view, see if we can get an indication. Most of the houses around here are about the same size, probably a little bit smaller. This house, I think they added onto a little bit. So between usually 11 and 1,600 square feet is what you're going to see in this area. So it's going to be a little bit larger than most of the houses in the neighborhood. And our first impressions of listing, I always like these dramatic sort of lower angle shots from the front. It looks like a nice clean house, not too fancy, but at least it has, you know, some landscaping, some mature trees here, which is nice. So I'm going to say on this one that it's a decent main photo. think our score is going to be a little bit lower probably. Oh, it's actually a 57 here, which according to BuyWise is a low priority house, and I think we know why. The motivation here might be a little low because they've been on the market only 13 days. The AC and roof are a little bit older, not super new there. This house the seller might need to experience a little bit more pain before they get super motivated, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't go see it. This is a nice looking house. Let's bounce through some of the photos. This is a classic Disston Heights house, and they got the extra square footage here. This would have been the garage at some point. Driveway would have gone straight in there, or maybe it could have been on this side. It's hard to tell. But either way, the houses were built usually with a one car. Some of them are a 2-car garage that has been converted. That's how you get to the 2,000 square feet, which is a little bit bigger than the neighborhood. So very nice and clean inside. Obviously, get rid of those blue walls. You know, the tile is a little dated. This is not a yesterday renovation. This is real hardwood. I don't know if you're going to be able to pick it up here, but it looked like they did some patching here, which tells me this is a real hardwood floor. You know, the tile's a little dated. The cabinets are a little bit dated. You know, certainly move-in ready and livable, but might be an upgrade at some point. And here you can see some of the discoloration on the floors. You know, again, a little bit dated, certainly not custom by any stretch. You know, this vanity looks like, you know, sort of a Lowe's or Home Depot kind of setup. Not being critical here, I'm just saying this is, you know, this is not a recent renovation. That bathroom is not great either. There's the laundry room. And then, you know, the back needs a little bit of work. This looks like some screens have just been kind of hung here. It's not a real true screen, and there's like a huge gap here, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a screen. But you do get a decent pool that looks like is in good shape. And these holes here are for the safety fence that would go around it. And it, you know, the landscaping is decent back here. I mean, I kind of like this house. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this one. It's $271 a square foot. I think they've kind of overshot here a little bit. The condition is such that it's not going to attract. The house needs a little bit of work. Let's just say that. It needs a little bit of cleanup work. That back porch area needs, I think, a better screen setup. I think this is a house that you go in, you're like, okay, if I've got 40 grand to spend, even if I don't want to do a new kitchen right away, to really kind of spruce it up a little bit, which means I think the price is a little bit high here, even at $271 a square foot. I'd like to see this one in the $519 range. Then I think we've got a deal. It is a big house, 2,000 square feet, and it is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, but there's a couple of negatives going against it. One is there's no garage, and 2, 49th Street is busy. It's not terrible. Now, this is kind of a line of cars here, and that's probably what you're going to get. It's a fairly steady line of cars. Might be a little bit busy, so we might even go a little bit under that 509-ish maybe I would be looking at. Drop a comment, let me know what you think. If you're looking for a 4.2, 2,000 square foot with a pool, not easy to find in the mid-5s, let me know. My name is Steve Reynolds. I'm a realtor here in St. Petersburg, Florida. If you're looking to buy or sell, or if you have any questions at all, drop a comment, shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. I would love to help you out. And with that, I will see you next time.